Hey everybody, welcome to session 14. We're almost at the end. It's 14 of 16. Um, and that's right, correct? I mean, like next week is finals week. I got the calendar right. Okay, because like I have to admit, you've probably been thinking the same thing where it's like, wow, this term is pretty short. I haven't taught in the summer in a couple of years. I think summer 2022 was my last summer offering, and I've forgotten how fast it goes by, and how accelerated it seems. So it's not just you; it's me too. A lot of stuff is coming fast. We're getting on towards the end here. Tonight, we're going to spend the vast majority of class doing our second mob programming activity. Tonight, you have the option to do it here in the classroom, and we've got, nice number of people here in the classroom. So I think we'll have a good mob here. And we have a handful of people online, so that's good. Also, and so we'll be doing the Mind Supercata. We'll be talking about that. But first, I want to open it up for Prime Minister's questions. What can I tell you? Project 4 is done, or rather, Project 4 is due today. I've been getting lots of good questions about it, but what else remains on your mind? What else are you wondering about Project 4, Project 5, anything else? Okay. Yep. Final exam, yes, so good. I figured someone would ask about that. So, next week from tonight is the final exam. Final exam is in two parts. The first part, I feel like I'm a waiter. Our final exam this evening is a two-part course of, yes. Okay, so the first part is written, it's the individual, they're both written. It's an individual part. It's short answer questions like your quiz. It's worth 8 of the 12 points. Yeah. And so it's basically like two quizzes put together. So I think there's like 6 questions. It covers all content in the course. So anything that basically is on the webpage here is fair game. It's open book, open notes, which means that you can use any resource that is hosted on my website. So any of the PDFs. I suppose you can link to the YouTube videos. You can find stuff quick enough, but probably it's faster to search the PDFs. Honestly, it's not the kind of thing you can study for because either at this point you know it or you don't. And so then probably the best way to study is to sit down for about an hour and just reorient yourself with the slides of the lecture notes, so remember what topic is where and what things are discussed. I think you'll find that the topics are familiar. So I'll say that much about the individual part. There's also a group part. The group part is a discussion and some writing. It's not coding. You've done plenty of group coding in this course, so you're not going to be doing any more coding. Instead, it's a critical thinking problem. I want to, and it's kind of related to the course, but it's more general. I want you to have one last opportunity to work with your peers, but on something a little bit different. And so that will be 4 points of the final exam. And we'll talk more about the details next week at the exam. Basically, talk, write, send me an email about that. The other question is where is the final exam? Let's see here. Sorry, a couple more questions came in. Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. What does the group final mean? I hope I explained that. Will the final be in person? Make you a deal. You don't have to come into campus. If you wanted to come into campus, you can take the final exam here on your computer. It'll be administered via campus. You can talk with people here, and the beer's on me afterwards. So if you want to go, have the professor buy you some beer. We can talk more stuff after that. I don't even know where there's a good place to get beer anymore around here. Hopefully you do. We used to go to the library, which was like this great little bar there on the Max line, but I think it's a different restaurant now. But anyway, so yeah, we'll do that after class if you want to come down. Otherwise, hey, if it's more convenient for you, if I can't entice you with that, which is fine. Not everybody has to imbibe. And of course, participation in after final activities will have no bearing on your grade whatsoever. Yep. So anyway, that's the offer. So come here if you want, take the final exam or take the final exam at home. And please only use resources that are hosted on the website or my YouTube channel. Let's see here. Hope that answers the question about final exam. That's a lot of content. It is, yeah. You can download and merge the PDFs. Yes, if that helps. It is administered online. Yep, so you can take it on Canvas. Let's see. Is it still 2 days of finals? One individual, one group? No, both of the final exams happen next Wednesday. And so that does bring. So let's also talk about Monday then. Yes, if you cannot legally consume alcohol at a restaurant, it's up to them to charge you. But yeah, no. Yeah, juice boxes. Yeah, nice. Yeah, you are welcome to drink beer before the exam. There you go. The confidence booster. No, beer before the course evaluation, though. There you go. I love this class. This is the best class ever. Yeah. It opens at 6:10, I believe. I should double check that though. You cannot do it earlier in the day. Yep. The whole idea is that everybody takes it at the same time. Oh yeah, and in between the individual portion and the group portion, you got to listen to me talk one last time. So yeah. Like 45 minutes or something like that. It's 6 questions in 45 minutes. It's been fine in the past. There's one other detail I was going to talk about. Oh yeah, we need to figure out Monday. That's what it is. Okay, so that's next Wednesday. So final exam during class time, administered on Canvas, come here or not. We'll go out afterwards and celebrate the end. If we come class for the final, we get to talk to people. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Oh, and if you're remote, then we'll have breakout rooms for the group portion too. Yep. Yeah. Oh, to be clear, you'll get to talk to people on the group portion. The individual portion of the final exam is individual. Just making sure. I never know. Okay, so let's figure out. Let's figure out what we do on Monday. So on Monday, I didn't have anything planned because there isn't any more things I can quiz you on. So what do you want to do on Monday? I'm happy to deliver some content. Happy to, I can lecture to you. I've got, a number of topics in the attic that I can, dust off and talk about. I have to admit, I don't have time to prepare something brand new because you're like, oh, I want to learn about database persistence. Nope, not going to happen. I got a lot of work to catch up on this weekend. Let's see here. For Monday, how will we learn about more popular ways of programming androids? Oh, you mean what do you mean? Do you mean not in Java? Do you want to learn about Kotlin or stuff like that? Yeah, we could have we could have a Disney movie. There you go. No, we're not going to waste our time with that. Yeah. Alternatively, if you so here's the thing. I acknowledge that here we are with a week left in class, and you're just now getting to start the Android project. For those of you who are done with Project 4, there's some of you who are still finishing up Project 4. I want to make sure you have enough time to not only do the project but also enjoy the project. So it might be that the best use of Monday is to have a lab for doing Android. And so if you want, I'm getting lots of nods here in the classroom. So if what you want to do during class time on Monday is, either on your own or come here in class, and we can work on our Android projects together. We can figure out how to share code. So let's see here. I'm getting lots of thumbs up here in the classroom. I get a superb, sounds good. Okay. Um, yeah, a class hackathon. Well, you can do it tonight with mob programming. But okay, so yeah, let's plan on doing that then. Um, so I think between now and then, hopefully everybody sort of gets a chance to really kind of break ground on their Android application, and we'll hang out. We'll see what it's like. We can and I'll open up the Zoom also, so it'll kind of be like extended office hours maybe. I'll try my best to answer your questions, and I don't know. I kind of don't know if it would be giving too much things away to have people share their code, but I don't know, maybe a little bit debugging or something like that. It'll probably be okay. Because yeah, that's next Wednesday is going to come pretty soon, and while I think I'll just say this right now, even though the Project 5 is technically due on Wednesday, I'm not going to start grading until the weekend anyway. What is next weekend? Yeah. So if you get it in by 5 p.m. on Friday, it'll be no problem. Otherwise, I'll try my best to make sure to grade it. And here again, the later you go in the weekend, the more time, the less likely I'll be able to give you substantive feedback. But yeah, but basically, yeah. So let's get it by Friday. That'll work. Get the Android project in by Friday. Okay. Okay, so to reiterate, next Wednesday, final exam, individual, group, here or there. It'll take probably most of class time to do both of those. Next Monday, though, we'll do an Android lab. Come here and we can work together to get our Android applications nice and fresh. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Yes, you can submit your project 5, and so basically, let's just say the due date. I don't know if we're going to update the website or anything like that. The due date for project 5 will be next Friday at 5 p.m. So yeah, if you need the extra time, and you probably will, because I realize that most, if not all of you, haven't haven't begun it in earnest. Okay, hope that helps. Let me know though. Great. Any other questions? Yes, okay. So let's see here. So class tonight, mob programming once again. So, sorry, Angel, let's see, I missed the last part of what was it about? Just reiterating the plan for Monday and Wednesday. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Okay. Let's talk about mob programming. So in Slack, I posted a link off to this handout. I was telling people before I started the recording, it's like I don't even remember last Wednesday. It seems like it was a month ago. So we've all been really busy. So, but just as a reminder about mob programming and what we're doing tonight. So we'll be doing another kata. We'll work in the kata's repository. We'll talk about that in a moment. But we're working in mobs. And so here, I don't know, we have probably 2 mobs. Well, 1 through 4. You all can decide if you want one big mob, a mob of, there's like 8 people here. Yeah, 8 might be a little big. I don't know. I don't know if 4's too small. I'll let you all figure it out. And then we've got about 10 people remote. So I think that's 2 mobs also. So yeah, well, let's plan on doing 2 here in the classroom, 2 remote. And in a mob, there are a couple of roles, as you might recall. So there's more people are arriving, yay! So we'll definitely have more mobs here in the classroom. So we will, there's a driver who is the person whose hands are on the keyboard and is writing the code. And they're the intelligent input device, meaning that their responsibility isn't to think about the problem, it's to implement the problem. And they are being guided by the navigator. So the navigator is the person who is providing instruction, providing cues to the driver on what to write, what to produce. And the navigator is then informed by everyone else in the mob, the mobbers. And so these are people that are talking about and thinking about the problem at hand, what to solve and how to solve it. And they might also be going off and doing some research, or thinking about some other things that they could do, and capturing notes for the future. And so, as we saw last week, this creates a different dynamic than pair programming. You've got different stuff going on, and I want you to be able to experience it again now that you've had a little a taste of what it was like. So. Here are some more things to remember. I'm not going to walk through all of them. So we'll do tonight essentially what we did last night. We'll have more time for it though. We'll be doing Pomodoros. So we're going to work in. Since we've got more time tonight, yeah, we'll go. Let's do 10 minutes development things. I think everybody likes it when we do more development. Actually, we'll start with a 10 minutes of just like talking and designing. I think especially with this one. It's more complex than the kata last week, and so then I want to make sure everybody has enough time to sort of get oriented and figure out what it is they're going to do. And then we'll start our Pomodoros, our 10 minutes of dedicated work, again where you have the driver, navigator, and mobber roles, and then you'll have a 2-minute reflection on what you saw. And I encourage you to be disciplined enough to stop typing and talking about the problem at hand and take a step back and talk about how the mob is going, especially for people who are remote. So those of you on Zoom, what I've experienced personally, what other people have told me, other students have told me, is that it's different when you're on Zoom. It's just as you can't see people's facial expressions and body language, and you don't know who's has their brow furrowed and who's staring off into space as easily. So take a moment to explore what that means. It's why we have the breaks, why we have the reflection in between Pomodoros. I encourage you to use GitHub to push-pull changes back and forth. You can try to use code with me, but I think the feedback I've gotten from students is that while it's kind of novel, it doesn't really help or make things easier. Can kind of get in the way, especially if you end up spending a whole rotation just trying to get the damn thing to work. So that's the thing we'll do. We'll stop. I don't know at 8 o'clock, 8:10 or something like that. We'll see how everything goes, and then do a little bit of group reflection. I particularly want to hear people's experience who are remote and how it compares and contrasts to what it was like in person last week. But regardless, this is everybody's second opportunity to mob, and I hope you'll have some new observations. And don't forget that next Wednesday, the reflections on your mob programming experiences, reflection is due. So be sure to do that. It should be open now, I think. I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to contribute your reflections on both of your mobbing experiences. So before we dive into the kata, though, any questions about what we're doing tonight? Should be the same as last week, but some people are remote. Okay, the kata. So, boy, I don't know if you all remember Minesweeper for Windows, probably when you were a toddler. Jeez, right? Yeah. Okay, well, so many years ago, the early versions of the Windows operating system had this little game called Minesweeper. And the whole idea, it was a grid, and it was you are the player, and what you're doing is sweeping for landmines. And so you would click on a certain cell in the grid, and it would give you an indication of, well, it would either have a landmine, in which case you lose the game, or it would give you an indication of how many of the adjacent tiles in the grid contained a landmine. And so then what your job was is to try to reason which cells in the grid do and do not have landmines. For this kata, what you are doing is implementing the logic to determine how many adjacent cells, for every cell, how many cells adjacent to it have a landmine. So you take an input that represents a field with stars and dots, stars being landmines and dots being non-landmines. And then you convert it to another grid that consists of a star, if there is a landmine there, or a number saying how many adjacent cells have a landmine. So in this case, the first, the cell in the top left corner, or rather the first row, first column, has a landmine, which means that the cell in the first row, second column has, 1, because for this cell, there's only 1 landmine that's adjacent to it. So similarly, for this first row, third column, there are 0 adjacent landmines there because there's 0 there. And so then you have like cells like these two, which both have 2 that are adjacent. So anyway, the whole idea is that, yep, you're given this input somehow, and you generate this output. And really, that's it. I mean, I guess you can, they give you a little bit, I guess they give you a little bit of information like that you have to say, hey, listen, you have n by n numbers, of a grid, so the number of rows, number of columns, et cetera, et cetera. So, and they even give you this nice acceptance test here where they say, great, the following grid is going to be 4 rows, 4 columns, and here's the grid. Then there's another one which is 3 rows, 5 columns, and here's the grid, et cetera. I guess it ends with 0, 0. It's probably not so important that you're able to do multiple grids. I encourage you to sort of start with something like this, like have a unit test or something that will go and parse this information and then generate output like this accordingly. Oops. So that's the kata. Any questions about the kata? Anything initially that you want to ask for a point of clarification from me on? That's all there, okay. Okay. Now let's figure out how many mobs we're going to do. So I'm guessing that, sorry, one more thing. So while you're waiting, please go get the latest changes to the kata's repository checkout that I hope you all have. In it, you should see a new set of projects called Minesweeper. And then we'll figure out what number the various mobs are. So let's see here. I see 11 people in the Zoom, including myself. And so I think that will be 2 mobs, ideally of 5 people. So try to keep the mob sizes even. And people here in the classroom, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's say 2 mobs? Yeah? Okay, cool. Oh, and I brought the HDMI cables. Sorry, what? 1 big mob? Nah, yeah, it's like you might get a little too big. You want to, yeah. So 2 mobs there. So how about mobs 1 and 2 in the classroom? And you can figure out which one is 1 and which one's 2. And mobs 3 and 4 on the Zoom. And what I will do is I will create 4 breakout rooms. The first 2 breakout rooms are for people, the mobs in the class, if you want to share your screen. Using a breakout room. And then people who are remote, please go into 3 or 4 to actually do your mobs. Now if I could only find breakout rooms, there it is. Oops, I don't want to pull. Nice, okay, breakout room. So anyway, I will create 4 breakout rooms. I'll let participants choose their room. And rooms are open. So once again, 1 and 2 are here in the classroom. 3 and 4 are remote. I'll stop the recording. Have a good time, everybody. Okay, awesome. Well, I'm really curious to hear what people thought of their mobbing. Now this is the second opportunity to do it, and everybody is just all that much more experienced working with Java, talking about these talking about the katas, um, learning all that. Let's start with folks in the room. So let's see here. This group over here. This is Mob One here in the back right. What was it like this week? How does it compare to last week? What are some of your observations?
Um, we did better this week. It was mostly the same group, and I think more time was better.
Okay, had more
So
time, same group. Yep.
we also have one less person, which isn't a lot, but for me at least, it felt like
Okay, so the group of five versus the group of six was a little better. Okay. How about others? Other observations? Hmm. Ah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so what I heard was once again easier with five people seem to be able to get on the same page quicker, but it did still take you a while to get on that same page and figure out, okay, yeah, how we're going to do this. Nice, cool. Any other thoughts from Mob One that you'd like to share? No, it's cool. Mob Two, also here in the room. Let's see, there were six of you over there. What was it like? What was the difference? What was the same? What differences made a difference?
I think getting off the other started was more effective now because
Hmm.
we had set up the screen share and
Gotcha. Easier to get off the ground because yeah, you're familiar with it. Remember from last week. Nice.
also just kind of utilizing the whiteboard and just
Ah, whiteboarding. Yeah.
you know, doing everything that
Okay.
you know,
That's a good point. Yeah. So this group over here, Mob One, was kind of the same as last week. But let's see here. Did you all sort of work with a different mob last week? Did it feel like there's a different group of people? Maybe do some good cross pollination things that you learned from last week, like whiteboarding.
yeah, the whiteboard is like really good at stuff. Also, some of us had different approaches, different ideas of how we approach the problem first.
Hmm.
So,
Okay, interesting. So yeah, you sort of saw that there were different parts to the overall design, and should you split up the mob, maybe have to do things in parallel. That would be an interesting experiment. Yeah, nice. Others, what were your observations about working in the mob tonight? Oh, interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's a really interesting observation. So yeah, it sounds like the team got good alignment, and then, like what you said, the bottleneck was the driver. Um, right. Any ideas how you could help, relieve the bottleneck on the driver? Oh, a pairing instead. Okay, okay, fair enough. Yeah, right. Because it did feel like everybody was sort of idle or blocked, waiting for the code to be written. Okay, interesting observation. Good. Anything else from Mob Two? Nope. Okay then. Now I want to turn to the remote mobs, people who are on Zoom. So room three, so that's Amrit, Angel, Ethel, Carla, and Puya. What was it like for you? So this was mobbing remotely. What were some of your experiences, and how did it compare to last week?
I think it was pretty nice. We got to actually complete a large chunk of the task. So it was pretty good. I think we were all pretty communicative and each driver did a lot of work. So
That's good. Chatting me here. Oh, let's see here. Not bad. Very active group, but I did not participate as much due to the projects I'm still working on. Fair enough. That's right. Yeah. Angel and I were going back and forth during the mopping a little bit. Okay. Great. Other observations from room 3.
Um, I think we would have benefited from having like a whiteboard to draw out ideas because we had a hard time trying to like explain what we're thinking about. And then, yeah, and then we miscommunicate and spend time like recommunicating, and that buys so I mean, it takes up some time. Yeah. But otherwise it went well, I think.
Cool. Yeah, Amrit pointed out that it was a lot more quiet that when everybody being in class. This is true. It did get pretty loud last week. But yeah, you have 20 people all working and talking at the same time. Nice. Great. Thanks, room 3. Room 4. What was your experience like? And what would you what do you think would you prefer, being remote or being in person?
Um, I'm happy to speak on that. Uh, so I found that this was actually better than last week. I think having the in-person as the first thing was probably beneficial to the thing to it overall. But like, I kind of got into this in the discussion in the group, but I generally hate like Slack meetings, like huddles or whatever they're called, because like most of the time people are just trying to talk over each other or talk when they don't realize someone else is about to talk. But I think because there's a bit of like people having to consider a problem, uh, that it keeps not everybody talking at the same time. Um, and that is super helpful because they're you don't deal with this like thing of someone trying to say something when someone else is about to quite as much. And so yeah, that I thought was pretty beneficial. I think having maybe not doing this on Zoom, but like Slack, which has the drawing whiteboard stuff, would be nice to do it that way. So yeah.
Other voices from room 4. Observations you'd like to share.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with Andrew. A lot of like it worked. It seemed to work pretty well this time. I think in part because we were kind of forced to sort of take turns speaking. Like it's like on a Zoom meeting, it's pretty hard to like hear anybody if you're speaking. So we were pretty good about sort of getting our thoughts out like one by one and working through it. I think also, at least I thought, at least from my experience, I felt like everybody was probably a little bit more comfortable with Java this time around. So there was always somebody who kind of knew what we should be doing, even if the other people were like, "I know what to do," but the actual Java of it, I'm not sure of.
Mm.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, room 4. Okay. Woo. Well, good. Thank you. I appreciate you taking a part in these group activities that we've been doing during the class, the 2 pair programming, now the 2 mob programming. I hope that you learned some things about how to work more effectively with others and sort of the dynamics of working and coding in a group. And that's it. So Monday we will have we'll have a lab for where I'll be doing Android together. I don't know, sort of be maybe a little unstructured, which I think will be fine. We'll get people's questions answered, and then a week from tonight will be the final exam. And again, take it from here or take it from home, and there'll be an individual portion at the beginning and a group portion at the end. We'll see you all then. Until then, stay safe. Have a great weekend.